This video brought to you by the Just Saying podcast. Check us out on podbean.com and iTunes. Link in the description below. What is up, everybody? This is Mark, and I am bringing you a deck profile, also tournament report from our event that we went to in St. Joe, Missouri this weekend. So shout out to Endgames. Fantastic event. Had a lot of fun. It was a good time, and this is the deck that took first place. Pan. It is red-green Pan. Very aggressive, lots of card draw. It is red, so it has access to pretty much everything good. If you play Pan, or if you've seen Pan, you know this is a thing. We start off, we have our 4 of Intensifying Power Trunks. It's our first turn crit attacker, it self-awakens, it's a chant tag target, it is everything good that it needs to be. And then we get to the Trunks Surge of Energy. This card is also insane for the aggro. Now, this deck isn't traditionally aggro, but it is a target for chain attack. It does give you 20k aggro swing on turn 2, and you do draw 2 cards on turn 2. So you have to charge, you play this card, you replace those 2 cards. There is no downside. It's an awesome card. Then we go to our first of the counterplays, the Mach Speed Kaioken Son Goku. This card's great on your opponent's turn because Pan's ability still triggers. You will draw a card, it becomes a 20k, and you also can give a minus 15 or minus 10 and 5 to something, either preventing aggro or just getting rid of something on the field by game mechanic. Then you have the Chain Attack Trunks, which allows us to be aggressive if we need to, but generally we use it for the Chain Attack Zeno combo, which is the strongest combo in the entire game. It is a 20k, it is really strong, but you'll probably never swing with it because Zeno just wipes the board, and well, that's the thing. Forcing hit, 2 of, I didn't really use a whole lot of hit this weekend. It's useful, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's a bad card. It gets rid of your opponent's hand when you need it to, and it also gives you insight, which is more or less why it was used, but I just didn't really see it a whole lot, so I don't have really an opinion, but the card's just good, and it's a 20k double striker. So then we get to the blue cards, which is obviously the Zeno. We'll just pass that up to get to the green. When we play this card, it's nuts. SSG Goku, Energy of the Gods. Draw 2 for 1 energy if it's the first card you play. If you have Sparking 3, obviously. But it's a 20k for 1 that draws you 2 with Sparking 3. It's nuts. I love this card. There is no downside to this card, and I played a lot of it. Same thing with the SSG Vegeta Energy of the Gods. It's a 20k for 1, and it's also Sparking 3, but this one helps you with aggro and also Zamasu tokens. It gets rid of really low cost cards. It clears the entire board. It is a ton of fun. Then we go to the Vegeta the Cruel. This is one of the stars of the entire deck. It is a 2-drop with a multicolor energy down, just like the Kaioken, but when it comes out, it KOs something to 4 or less, and your opponent warps a card if they kill something. It's awesome. Also, since it's a 15k, you get the +5 off the Pan when you play it on your opponent's turn, and you draw a card. So they lose, you gain. There is no downside to this card. This is probably the best counterplay out of set 7, out of everything. Next to Champa, I still think this one's better. It just gives you so much advantage. It's a 15k body. It's hard for your opponent to deal with. It helped me win so many games. Then we get to the multicolor cards. We have the Brawly Demonic Origins. This is your key energy exhaust card because you don't necessarily want to charge this one first. You want to charge a other energy exhaust card because you'll get full value out of this one when you actually charge it for turn 2 if you already have another multicolor down. It's super useful. You can also hard cast it as well, giving you a 20k draw, and then your opponent has a discarded card. So there's not really a whole lot of downside to this card. I am a big fan of it. Then Faded Kaioken Son Goku. We can't really get away with playing the SR Kaioken Goku. This one does just fine. It arrivals in for 2, and once per turn you can choose 1 card in your life and add it to your hand. And if you're at 3, Double Strike and Dual Attack is applied to this card, and you start swinging for really big gains. That is huge. This card is part of your finishing strategy. It also just can help be aggressive when you need to and apply a lot of pressure when your opponent gets low, because we're trying to get to our end game of playing down the secret rare. But before that, we have SSB Gogeta Resonant Explosion, which is a 20k double striker for 1 red energy when you arrival it in. It's awesome. It kills the card when it comes in. It's 20k, it's huge, double strikes, again, aggression, big body, no downside. Love this card. Bardock Awakened Instincts is one of our last cards we are going to hit before super combos in the secret rare. It is a overall for 4. You draw 2 and pitch 1 with it. I like this card. It helped me draw cards, but at the same time, I feel like it's kind of minus because I'm running the green, so I'm probably going to take it out. I didn't like how it played, and I only played it in a pinch when I need to get those final attacks off. So I feel like there's other cards that could do that a little bit better, even though this one's free. Also, for Overwhelm, I'd probably do something that gets rid of big things like Dimensional Banisher Fu. Like that would probably be what I would run. But then we have our super combos, support attacks on Goten. I just picked a super combo. You can use this, Bulma, the new Krillin. Those are pretty much the 3 options with the 0-10k. I picked this one because it was in front of me and it's what I had. So I used it. Then SS3 Scramble, Raditz, Vegeta, and Brawly. This is the secret rare. This is the card where you get them down to 2 life, it's game over. If you have 5 energy and they're at 2 life and you swing and they don't negate, you combo out and then pay 5 and you win. As long as you have at least 2 life as well, because you have to pitch a life to make them take 2. But this card is easy damage, easy win. There's not a whole lot they can do about it, and it's just really, really strong if you need to also finish them for that last 1 life. It's a 40k, and they probably can't negate if they're tapped out because they can't rip the life. So there is not a lot of downside to this card other than it's kind of pricey to pay, but it's still really good for finishing off your opponent when you need to. Then we have the Afterimage technique. It is the red standard counterplay for almost every red deck. It helps out in every situation. It gets your leader really strong when you need to, or gets a card really strong. It makes your opponent's cards lose attack. It's so necessary. If you're not running this negate, then you need help. We get to the sideboard now, and the sideboard is pretty on par to what we wanted. I think there's going to be a few changes here, and I'm going to go through the cards a little bit slower here. Is That All You've Got is the first one. It helps against our aggro matchup. It's also really good against U6. It is just necessary for those U6, veggies, aggros, Kidku, just lots of things. It just gets rid of all those bodies out there that you don't want to deal with, and is a really strong 1-drop counterattack. Denial of Hope, though, is also really useful. This is also good against U6. It helps against Shenjita a little bit when they try to Whis or if they try to Shenron. It's not a bad card at all. I brought it in for the mid-range matchup, though. If I knew they were playing a lot of strong 4-drops, then this gets rid of those really quick. Also helps against Zamasu when they go to do the thing that charges your energy, your battle card, your energy. This is also useful for that as well. So definitely a 3 of. I liked it at 3. The Final Guardian. This is a card that was unique to me. I haven't tried this card yet, but it is useful. It's very useful for decks that control the hand, like Shenjita, Mira, all those different things. Or not Mira, Toa. It's really useful though, because as long as you have it in your drop area, then you don't have to worry about having that extra negate because it's already there. As long as you have the energy open, you pay the 1, and then you pitch a card from your hand and remove it and a card from your hand from the game, and you can only activate 1 a turn. But as long as you've activated it before it's in your drop area, then if they go to swing with Shenjita as their final, then you have that extra negate, 1 more negate in your hand, and then you can safely take a hit if you need to and go down to whatever life and then proceed to try and win from there. It's a very, very good card. I highly suggest having at least 2 in your board. Mach Speed Kaioken Son Goku. I used it to interchange between Vegeta the Cruel and Mach Speed when I needed to. The only time I would ever do that is if you're playing against Kidku, because the stuff is low enough with like the Android 8s and the Kidku himself. Otherwise, I would stick mostly with Vegeta the Cruel. It's just a much better card. Or in that sense, I'd even just side in the Is That All You've Got. I didn't find too many use cases in which I brought Mach Speed Kaioken Son Goku in, so this card will probably come out and become something else later on. I'm not exactly sure, but we'll see what happens over time. Then we get to Tactical Victory Vegeta. It's strictly used against a Zamasu deck or anything that uses a field card, but primarily Zamasu deck. You don't want to play this against Red Brawly because they want that card in the drop area, but this card it just stops Zamasu hardcore for a while because they can't block with their tokens, and they don't multiply. So, benefits. Then you have Unexpected Turn. This is the aggro matchup. Like, that's it. There's nothing else. I played it. It helped me beat Shenron Veggies, so that was really nice. But otherwise, I mean, it doesn't have much more application than that. Not even against my deck, it doesn't help. The cards ought to be low enough for it to work. Like 2 drops or less, because it doesn't kill anything other than that. And then we get to Mercenary Tau, the Ruthless Trainer. This is for strictly like discard decks like Golden Frieza or Lord Slug, which I was convinced I was going to see a Lord Slug there because I know there was a player who played Lord Slug a couple weeks ago, and we did not see that this time. So I made the call just in case. I'm glad I had it just for security purposes, because I did come up against a Golden Frieza player, and that did come in handy when they went to discard me for something, and I made their hand pay for it. So yeah, Mercenary Tau, definitely a thing. Was really helpful, but probably not needed. So based on the meta in the future, I don't know if I'll take it out of the sideboard. But this is the deck list as a whole. This is what it looks like. The link is going to be in the description below. And you guys check it out from there. If you have any questions or comments, let me know. I did see that the green leader did really well this weekend at the regional, or not the regional, the pro play tour event. I like that leader a lot. I'm look at a variant of that leader with some mix-ins with this, but it's really hard to get away from the Chantag Zeno combo because it's just so powerful. It is really powerful, and it does a lot of damage. This deck definitely does need a little bit of tuning up. It has a hard matchup against Shenjita, or any wish leader really that gains you hard hand advantage that can do things late game for easy prices. But yeah, Shenjita was a really difficult matchup. Zamasu is also a very difficult matchup as well. I can't get them down fast enough in some cases just because of the amount of stall that they can potentially run. Zeno helps a little bit, but they're able to just, swing and regain their hand very quickly with the leader, especially if they flip at the right time too. They don't have to flip until they absolutely need to, so that's the thing. Other than that, it has a pretty solid matchup against just about everything. Zamasu and Shenjita are probably the only things that gave me any real trouble this weekend. Otherwise, I could have taken Kidku. I could have taken... I took down a Golden Frieza. I took down a Shenron Veggies. I took down Zeno Maidens. So there's all sorts of different matchups out there, but primarily it just doesn't struggle a whole lot, especially if you play against a mirror match and you know what you're doing, then it works a lot better for you. But otherwise, if you have any questions, post them in the comments below. I will be happy to field them for you and see what we can come up with. If you have any suggestions, I would also love to hear that as well. But once again, shout out to Corey Porter, who initially came up with the deck, and we've been tweaking it between the two of us over time for the last couple weeks. And then also shout out to Endgames again in St. Joe for running a great event. Had a great time. Also shout out to Eggman for not being there for top 8 so that I could get my win into top 4. That really helped getting me to the first place spot. So thanks a lot, everybody. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Also check out DBS-Decks.com. That's where everything is. And also follow us on Facebook. Also check out the Just Saying podcast at justsayingofficial.podbean.com. Link in the description below. We will see you guys later. Take care.